Good morning and welcome back to one more live with us, with Neetu's. Today's live is listening live, the listening acuity. I'm Anne with you, and I'll be with you for this 30 to 40 minutes, and we'll be dealing with some of the listening kind of questions, right? So we have been going through these kind of sessions from the past some days, wherein we are taking one exercise or one test paper from any Cambridge test, and then we are solving different types of questions. That's what we are doing. We are going to follow the same procedure, but then every day when we are dealing with different kind of questions, we are also learning like how to solve these kind of questions, right? How to comprehend the audio clip when we are listening to something, because you must all be aware that being an IELTS, if you are going for an IELTS test, in listening, when it comes to a listening test, it has got different accents. And like I always say, whenever you practice, you have to take audios which has got different accents, right? So that you get used to it, right? Okay, so let's go today also a kind of exercise wherein there are we are taking today a new test. So we are dealing with the section 1 kind of questions. Listening, you all are knowing that has got 4 sections, section 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the level of difficulty keeps on progressing. Last section is always known as difficult type of a section, but yes, with rigorous practice you can solve the same, right? So let's go today also audio clip. First we will listen to the audio clip, and at the same time you can see the questions on the screen. So when you are seeing the questions on the screen and listening to the audio, you can just write down your answers in the comment section, and when we discuss the answers with the help of the audio script, we will come to know whether you have given the right answer or not. Okay, so let's go to the audio clip which will be coming on your screen along with the questions, and after that we'll discuss the questions with the answers. The audio clip.
You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Section 1. You will hear a man inquiring in a tourist centre about activities suitable for families. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 4. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hi, can I help you?
I'd like to find out if you have any excursions suitable for families.
Sure. How about taking your family for a cruise? We have a steamship that takes passengers out several times a day. It's over 100 years old.
The cruise takes place on a steamship. So steamship has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Hi, can I help you?
I'd like to find out if you have any excursions suitable for families.
Sure. How about taking your family for a cruise? We have a steamship that takes passengers out several times a day. It's over 100 years old.
That sounds interesting. How long is the trip?
About an hour and a half. And don't forget to take pictures of the mountains. They're all around you when you're on the boat and they look fantastic.
Okay. And I assume there's a cafe or something on board?
Sure. How old are your children?
My daughter's 15 and my son's 7.
Right. Well, there are various things you can do once you've crossed the lake to make a day of it. One thing that's very popular is a visit to the country farm. You're met off the boat by the farmer and he'll take you to the holding pens where the sheep are kept. Children love feeding them.
My son would love that. He really likes animals.
Well, there's also a 40-minute trek round the farm on a horse if he wants.
Do you think he'd manage it? He hasn't done that before.
Sure, it's suitable for complete beginners.
Good.
And again, visitors are welcome to explore the farm on their own, as long as they take care to close gates and so on. There are some very beautiful gardens along the side of the lake which also belong to the farm. They'll be just at their best now. You could easily spend an hour or two there.
Okay, well, that all sounds good. And can we get lunch there?
You can, and it's very good, though it's not included in the basic cost. You pay when you get there.
Right.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
So, is there anything else to do over on that side of the lake?
Well, what you can do is take a bike over on the ship and then go on a cycling trip. There's a trail there called the Back Road. You could easily spend 3 or 4 hours exploring it, and the scenery's wonderful. They'll give you a map when you get your ticket for the cruise. There's no extra charge.
What's the trail like in terms of difficulty?
Quite challenging in places. It wouldn't be suitable for your 7-year-old. It needs someone who's got a bit more experience.
Well, my daughter loves cycling, and so do I, so maybe the 2 of us could go, and my wife and son could stay on the farm. That might work out quite well. But we don't have bikes here. Is there somewhere we could rent them?
Yes, there's a place here in the city. It's called Ratcheson's.
I'll just make a note of that. How do you spell it?
�RATCHESONS. It's just by the cruise ship terminal.
Okay.
You'd also need to pick up a repair kit for the bike from there to take along with you, and you'd need to take along a snack and some water. It'd be best to get those in the city.
Fine. That shouldn't be a problem. And I assume I can rent a helmet from the bike place.
Sure, you should definitely get that. It's a great ride, but you want to be well prepared because it's very remote. You won't see any shops round there or anywhere to stay, so you need to get back in time for the last boat.
Yeah. So what sort of prices are we looking at here?
Let's see. That'd be 1 adult and 1 child for the cruise with farm tour. That's $117, and an adult and a child for the cruise only, so that's $214 altogether. Oh, wait a minute. How old did you say your daughter was?
15.
Then I'm afraid it's $267 because she has to pay the adult fare, which is $75, instead of the child fare, which is $22. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So how do we find out?
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, so that was the audio clip for the section 1 questions from 1 to 10. Okay, so each section has got 10 questions, so we have for total 40 questions. So these were sections 1, these were questions 1 to 10 of section 1. Okay, so what we are going to now, we have already listened to the audio piece. Now we are going to discuss these questions along with the audio script so that we can get the answers accurately. So let's go through the questions now. Okay, now questions from 1 to 10, which is from section 1. The type of question first is complete the notes below. So it has been taken from completion kind of questions. There are various kind of questions in listening, more than 10 type of questions in listening, and one kind of question is completion, and from completion there is a particular kind of question which is known as note completion, which is very common kind of question. If you take the listening test papers of previous exams or from Cambridge, you can see that this kind of question is a very common question which can be found in majority of the papers, right? So in this section also it is showing as complete the notes below starting from 1 till 10, right? So let's see. Now when it comes to note completion kind of questions, in note completion kind of questions, I have repeated previously also that it will each sentence which is given with a blank normally comes with a title or a subtitle, right? Here the title is given as family excursions, right? That is a title, and after that you can see there are some subtitles like cruise on a lake, which is there's an example of a statement blank solved, which is cruise on a lake, and then they are telling farm visit, which has got around 4 questions, then cycling trips, which has got around 3 blanks, and then towards the end cost, which has got 1 blank, right? Cycling has got around 5 blanks, and then cost, which has got around 1 blank. So you need to take care of whenever you get the questions in front of you, before going to the audio clip, you should be always prepared. You should never go to any audio clip blankly, okay? That will have a negative effect, because you should know what we are looking for. So here, before the audio starts to play, you have got the 30 seconds to have a look at that questions, right? At that time you should always note what is the title, what are the subtitles, right? Because for example, the title is family excursions, definitely that audio is all about a family excursion, right? Some inquiry which is being made, and then it says cruise on a lake. So the moment that part of the audio comes, you are aware that okay, this is my first blank, so there is what I'll get the answer, right? First and second one with an example, right? And then when the conversation is going on, being a section 1, it is going to be a conversation on general context, so it is a conversation. So the moment the conversation starts on farm visit, you have got around 4 blanks, so that is where you need to be alert, because that is where your answers are gonna come, right? So that's why in note completion, the title and the subtitles plays a very big role, which you should take note of, okay? Now second thing, after they are telling complete the notes below, it's mentioned write 1 word and or a number for each answer. That is the instruction for the word count, and it is a part of every listening test as well as reading. So when you have to take particular attention, particular care when you go through these instructions, because if you don't follow these instructions, even if your answer is right, you're gonna not get the mark, right? So there are various kind of instructions, like write not more than 2 words, okay? Write your answers not more than 1 word, not more than 3 words. Here it is given write 1 word and or a number for each answer. So you have got 3 choices to write each answers for each blank. Either you can write your answers in 1 word, right? Or you can write in it will be 1 number, or it can be 1 word and a number, right? So every blank can have these 3 choices for the answers, right? And always be sure that whenever this kind of instruction comes which says 1 word and or a number, that means at least 1 answer of yours will have a number, okay? So that you must be aware of. Okay, so you have to follow the instructions very clearly when you fill up the blank. So that is the instruction part. Now coming to the questions, it says, like we saw the title, family excursions, and then it's telling cruise on a lake. There is one statement which has been solved for you, one blank which has been solved for you. So let's see that first. Travel on an old dash blank, and the answer is steamship. So what made the blank to have an answer steamship is what we are going to look at the audio script and find out. Travel on an old dash. So the keywords are something which is old. Whatever you are going to write in the blank, that is a thing which is old. Now old means generally it shows it can be a person. If I say I am this many years old, that means I've been living on this earth for this much years, right? If my pen or if my pencil is 2 years old, that means I've been using that pencil since the past 2 years. If I'm telling the structure which I can see there, it has been built some 25 years back, that means it's 25 years old. It's been existing since the past 25 years. So it's a time period, right? So that means whatever they are telling, definitely they are going to tell something about that thing's age or something like that, right? When it originated and still existing. So whatever is that, let's find out. We'll go to the audio script. This is the audio script. So this is where the conversation we had was between an employee and a visitor who is trying to find out some details about the excursion which is suitable for families. Maybe he wants to come and so on. So let's start. The travel company employee says, beginning with the greeting, "Hi, can I help you?" And then the visitor says, "I would like to find out if you have any excursion suitable for families," right? And for that the employee replies, "Sure. How about taking your family for a cruise?" Right? So that's what we had seen in the subtitle in our question sheet. It says cruise on a lake. So the moment you know that is subtitle cruise, I have already highlighted that, you know it, right? So the moment the cruise word comes in your audio, you're sure that this is where your answer is going to be there. So sure, how was taking your family for a cruise? And then she says, "We have a steamship that takes passengers out several times a day." Okay, example. That is what the example they written there. Sentence, "It's over 100 years old." So she's telling that there's a steamship which goes for a cruise and takes out passengers several times a day. But then later she says that it is 100 years, it's over 100 years old. So something which is 100 years old is quite old, right? That's for sure. So what is it that is old for the cruise on the lake? Travel on an old steam ship, right? So that is why the answer for blank one is steamship. Clear? Okay. So let's take now the questions from 1 to 9, which we have to solve. Okay. So now the first statement is, "Can take photos of the dash that surrounds the lake." And this is also a part of cruise on the lake. So that's something regarding the cruise on the lake. So it can take photos of the dash that surround the lake. Now generally when we take a picture, it is of something which is very beautiful, something which is natural, or it can be a person, it can be a thing, whatever. That is what we take pictures of. So somewhere you can guess that this will be a noun. Definitely it can be either a person or something which is as a thing, right? So, or maybe whatever it is, right? But it's going to be a noun, right? So can take photos of the what that surrounds the lake. Now surrounds the lake, that means when it is surrounding the lake, it can be, again you can make a guess, it can be something which is connected to nature, right? So that is how you will be aware when the audio clip plays. So let's go to the audio script which says something about that. Going forward, the visitor says, "That sounds interesting. How long is the trip?" For which he's asking about the cruise on the steamship. It's interesting. How long is the trip? And she replies, employee, "About an hour and a half." Okay. "And don't forget to take the pictures of the mountains. They are all around you when you are on the boat and they look fantastic." Right? So what is she telling? Don't forget to take pictures of the mountains. So what is the thing for which the pictures have to be taken? It is a mountain. So the answer is, photos are synonymous to pictures, right? They are not given pictures, they have given photos, but those two words are synonymous to each other, which will be what will be a part of your listening test. Whatever you listen in the audio, don't expect the same words to be a part of your test paper. They will give you synonymous words, so that because they're not going to make it that easy for you, right? But then yes, those words will be quite understandable for you, right? So can take photos of the mountains that surround the lake. because it is a cruise on the lake, right? So that is the first answer. Let's go to the second one. Now the subtitle has changed. It has become farm visit. So now the conversation is going, wherever the conversation is about farm visit, there is what your there lies the answers for second, third and fourth blank. Right? That is where the subtitles help you. If you go blank, then you will be like searching for the answers, and maybe you will miss your focus and miss the answers. So you are going to be alert when the details come about farm visit. So first is already given. Children can help feed the sheep. There's nothing to fill in that. The second one says visit can include a 40-minute ride on a dash. Now when you're visiting the farm, they're telling that this farm visit can include, it comprises of a 40-minute ride on something. Now, it can be anything. It can be a vehicle, it can be an animal, it can be whatever, because it is a ride. So what is this 40-minute? That 40-minute is your keyword. So definitely that time is going to be mentioned in your audio. Right? So the moment that is mentioned in your audio, that's your keyword, the 40-minute, because nouns and numbers are the best keywords in listening as well as in reading. The moment you hear that 40-minute, that's where your answer. Let's see what the answer is. What is the 40-minute ride which is a part of the farm visit? Okay, so the visitor says, for that mountain, after the mountain photos, the visitor says, okay, and I assume there's a cafe or something on board. That means he's asking about the ship. Then the employee says, sure. How old are your children? Okay, he says, my daughter's 15 and my son's 7. For that, the lady says, right, well, there are various things you can do once you have crossed the lake to make a day of it. One thing that's very popular is a visit to the country farm. So that is where your information is gonna come now, because she's mentioned the visit to the farm, the country farm. You are met off the boat by the farmer and he will take you to the holding pens where the sheep are kept. Children love feeling them. Pens are where the sheep are kept. That's their habit, where where they are kept. Okay, where they are actually grown. So children love feeling them. Visitor, my son would love that. He really likes animals. Okay, so then the employee says, well, there's also a 40-minute trek around the farm on a horse if he wants. Right? Now here's actually, it's a typing error, because that's actually not a house, that's actually a horse. Okay, so what she says, there's also a 40-minute trek around the farm on a horse, because they're talking about the animals. First they spoke about the sheep which are kept in the pens. Then he says that my son would love that, really likes animals. That's where she says that there is a 40-minute trek. So 40-minute trek means generally it's a ride. You're trekking a mountain, that means it's kind of a ride which you have, right? So your question is, visit and 40-minute ride on a, so the answer is actually horse. Okay, which they are going to take for 40 minutes. That 40 minutes is where your answer comes. Okay, let's go to the next one. It says visitors can walk in the farms dash by the lake. So visitors can walk in the farms blank then by the lake. So there is something near the lake or by the lake, adjacent to the lake. By the lake means which is adjacent to the lake, where the visitors can walk. Okay, so let's see what is that. We had done till, okay, then the visitor says, do you think he would manage it? That is, he's talking about the ride on the horse. He hasn't done that before. Employee says, sure, it's suitable for complete beginners. Good. Okay, so that part is where the animal thing is closing. After that, the employee says, and again, so because he has asked what are the various things they can do, she says, and again, visitors are welcome to explore the farm on their own. So it's a self-exploration they can go for, as long as they take care, as long as they take care to close gates and so on. So they have to take care when they are in the farm. They need to take care. They have to close the gates and so on, right? So then she says, there are some very beautiful gardens along the side of the lake which also belong to the farm. There are some very, Now again, visitors are welcome to explore the farm. Explore the farm means definitely you're going to take a walk, right, on self, and they have to take care to close the gates whenever they enter the farm. Then she says there are some very beautiful gardens along the side of the lake which also belong to the farm. They will be just at their best. Now you can easily spend an hour or two there. So now how do you get an idea this is going to be your answer? Because exploring the farm on your own, right, because they are telling that you need to explore, means when you explore something, a farm kind of a thing, definitely you're gonna walk and explore, right? And she's telling keep the gates closed. So now also there are beautiful gardens along the side of the lake. Like I said, by the side is adjacent. If the lake is there, parallel to that there is a garden adjacent to it along the side of the lake, which also belong to the farm. So it's a part of the farm. So the people who are there in the farm, they can take a walk on the in the garden also. So here you can see there are some very beautiful gardens and in the end they are telling it's a part of the farm. When you go to the question, you can see that visitors can walk in the farms. What now in the audio clip they're telling beautiful gardens. Now that's a garden when is a common noun, but here they're specifically telling what the farm's garden. So at that time, if your answer has to be grammatically correct, you will not write gardens, you will write garden, because there's only one garden on the farm. There's no gardens on the farm. So visitor can walk in the farm's garden by the lake, right? So it is going to be garden and not gardens, which is mentioned in your audio clip, right? So if you write gardens there, you're not gonna get your mark, right? Because grammatically there's farms gardens by the lake, which is going to be incorrect. Okay, so next is dash is available at extra cost. Okay, 4, which says dash is available at extra cost. So let's go to it. Okay, well, okay, then the visitor says, so we have ended it here. Then the visitor says, okay, well, that all sounds good, and can we get lunch there? Okay, so now his lunch is connected to food. Lunch means it's food, and we are looking at the blank where it says, the question says dash is available at extra cost. Now it can be anything, whatever, because you're paying for it, that it can be any kind of thing. So how will you come to know what is it? So now when you go to the question, you can see here that, well, that all sounds good, and we can get extra, can we get lunch there? And then for that the employee says you can, and it's very good. After that she says, though it's not included in the basic cost, you pay when you get there. Okay, so when you are booking your excursion trip, you're paying an amount, right? Or we are going for the farm visit, you must be paying an amount. In that particular amount, your lunch is not included. So if you want to get a lunch which is very good, you have to pay additional amount for that. You pay when you get there. It is not included in the basic cost. That means you have to pay additionally for it. So that's why, what are we paying extra to buy? We are buying for our lunch. So that's why lunch is available at extra cost. For that which she says yes. Okay, now next is, now that completes the farm visit, right? After farm visit, now we are going to the next subtitle, which says cycling trips. So cycling trips has got around 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have got around 3 blanks which are a part of cycling trips. So next, whenever the audio starts about the cycling trips, that is when your answers are going to come. Let's see the first blank. Cyclists explore the back road. Okay, cyclists explore the back road, which is already given, and then they say a dash is provided. Okay, so what is it that is provided? What do the cyclists do? The cyclists, they explore the back road, off road, and then the next, the blank says a dash is provided. So let's see what is the answer for the same. You can go towards, we have read till the lunch one. Okay, so next the visitor says, what's the trail like in terms of difficulty? Okay, I mean, what is the path like in terms of difficulty? So Sorry, we have missed a part. That's what I'm wondering. Okay, so that we have, after that, the visitor says right. So the visitor says again, so is there anything else to do over that side of the lake? So now the other side of the lake, he's asking, because you're gonna cruise and go. So they're asking, is there anything they can do on the other side of the lake? The employee says, well, what you can do is take a bike over. You can do is to take a bike over on the ship and then go on a cycling trip. So when you are going for the steamship cruise, what they are telling, that you can take a bike along with you, and then you can go for a cycling trip when you reach there. There's a trail there called the back road. You can easily spend 3 or 4 hours exploring it, and the scenery is wonderful. So trail generally says a way, okay, something a kind of a off-road kind of a thing, which is not a proper road. It's a muddy road, but which is used kind of off-road, and you can walk there, you can take your vehicles, or you can take cycles there. So it's that is called as a trail. So she's telling there's a trail there called as a back road. You could easily spend 3 or 4 hours exploring it, right? You can just explore what all things are there, and the scenery is wonderful. They will give you a map when you get your ticket for the cruise. There is no extra charge for the same. So the moment you take your bike and go into the ship, you take the ticket for the cruise, they will provide you, if you desire to go for cycling on that back road, they will provide you a map when you get the ticket, and there's no extra charge for the same. Okay, so what is it? Dash is provided. A dash is provided when the cyclists explore the back road. What is it? A map is provided to them when they go. So that is, the map is the answer for blank 5. Coming to blank 6, only suitable for cyclists who have some dash. Now we're talking about the back road. If you're taking the bike there and going for cycling, it is suitable for whom? The people who are cycling, who are cyclists, and what some quality they must be having. So let's see, what is it? We will go towards question. We have completed question 5. Okay, what's the trail like in terms of difficulty? So that means he's asking, like, what is the level of difficulty? If somebody is going to cycle there, he or she, how can they manage? And the employee says, quite challenging in places. It wouldn't be suitable for your 7-year-old, because he specifically told he has got 2 kids, right? It needs someone who's got a bit of more experience. Okay, so a person who is a cyclist who wants to go on the back road, what should he or she have? They should have a bit more experience. So here you have an option of writing only one word. So you can write only experience. You cannot write bit more or extra, whatever it is. You can write only experience. So the answer for blank 6 is only suitable for cyclists who have some experience. Okay, that is the answer for 6. Now 7, bikes can be hired from dash, and bracket they are telling, near the cruise ship terminal, right? So something which is connected to the cruise ship terminal. Bikes, where can be they hired? Hired means they can take it for rent. So where can be taken from? Let's see the answer 7. So when you go towards, one second. Okay, when you go towards your answer, yes. So my daughter loves cycling, and so do I. So maybe the 2 of us could go, and my wife and son could stay on the farm. That might work out quite well. But we don't have bikes here. Is there somewhere we could rent them? Rent, which is equal or synonymous to hire. When you take something for rental, you hire it, right? Now the employee says, yes, there's a place here in the city. It's called Ratcheson's. Okay, Ratcheson's is a name. So it's called Ratcheson's. Visitor, I'll just make a note of that. How do you spell it? Now whenever such names, now this is a lifeline which you get. Whenever such difficult name comes, and whenever they spell it, it becomes easier for you to write your answer. Now in the audio we heard that she's spelling it for you. Ratchesons. It's just be the cruise ship terminal. So the name of that cruise ship terminal is Ratcheson's, where the cycle is available to you. So the answer for question 7 is Ratcheson's. Okay, let's go to question 8. Cyclist need. What does a cyclist need? That means some things which they are going to carry with themselves when they go for the cycling or their bike ride. What they need first is already given, a repair kit. Second, food and drink, again mentioned. And then they are telling number 8, it can be hired. Something which can be hired, again taken on rental. Right? What is that which is mentioned and which can be taken on rental? So, okay, you would also need to pick up a repair kit for the bike from there to take along with you, which is already mentioned. You would need to take along a snack and some water. It would be best to get those in the city. Again, that is also mentioned in your sheet. Then the visitor says, fine, that shouldn't be a problem, and I assume I can rent a helmet from the bike place. So rent again shows hire. What is he hiring? He has to hire a helmet. So the answer for question 8 is helmet. Okay, fine. Let's go to question 9. There are no dash or accommodation in the area. So what is this that they are going to say? One is accommodation, and one more thing which is a part of the blank, even that is not available in that area. So something which is not available along with accommodation. Let's see. Employee says, sure, you should definitely get that. It's a great ride, but you want to be well prepared because it's very remote. Now, remote is something which is wherein facilities are less, kind of remote. You won't see any shops around there, or anywhere to stay. Now, anywhere to stay is defined as accommodation, or accommodation is defined as somewhere where you stay, right? So anywhere to stay is already mentioned, accommodation. You won't see another thing is what? Before the or is given, shops around there. So you are going to not see any shops. So it is shops, which is the answer for question 9. There are no shops or accommodation in that particular area. So shops is the answer. Right? Let's go to the last blank, which is the 10th one, which has got a subtitle called cost. Now there is something which is going to be about money. What is the money related to this cruise or this excursion? So that is where your answer will come. The blank statement is total cost for whole family of cruise and farm visit. Okay, which is $, the unit, and then they have given a blank. Right, so the total cost for the whole family for the cruise as well as the farm visit. It is a combination of both. So let's see what is last part of the audio telling us. Visitor, yeah. So what sort of prices are we looking at here? That is the cost. Prices is synonymous to cost. Employee says, let's see, that would be 1 adult and 1 child for the cruise with farm tour. Always be aware that whenever the blank is going to give you a number, now $, means it's going to be a number. Whenever it's going to be a number, in the part of the audio, you're not going to get one number, you're going to get multiple numbers to confuse you. So it's your duty to understand that which is the correct answer for that blank. Now here she says, with farm tour, that's $117. The first number they mentioned is 117. That is 1 adult and 1 child for the cruise with the farm tour, that's 117. And an adult and a child for the cruise only, so that's 240. We are looking for the cruise as well as the farm for his family, right? Here she already gave 2 options, that is 1 adult and 1 child for the cruise with the farm tour, 117. And then she says, and an adult and a child for the cruise only, it's 240. All together. Okay, but then he already gave his family. Okay, wait a minute, how old did you say your daughter was? He asking, and the visitor says 15. So the visitor says 15. His son is 7-year-old. Okay, it's a child, and his daughter is actually 15-year-old, right? So the employee says, then I'm afraid it's going to be $267 because she has to pay the adult fare, which is $75, instead of the child fare, which is $22. Sorry about that. Right? So see how many figures they have given: $117, $214, $267, $75, and $22. Out of these 5 numbers, you have to choose your correct number. So in the beginning, she says 1 adult, 1 child. He is there, 1 father and 2 kids. One is a child, 7-year-old, one is 15-year-old. So she is equal to an adult. That becomes 2 adults and 1 child, right? So first 2 answers are not suitable for us. 1 adult and 1 child for the farm and the cruise. No. Second, she says adult and a child only for the cruise, but he's looking for the farm and the cruise both. Even that is not the correct answer. Going forward, then she takes some distraction is there. Wait a minute, how old is your daughter? She says 15. And then she said, I'm afraid it's going to be $267. because she has to pay the adult fare, which is $75 instead of the child fare, which is $22. Right? So she added to that 117, whatever the amount was, to that she added the fare. Okay, that is what they are telling here. So the total amount is, so you don't have to look for the calculation. If you're focused on the audio, you'll come to know that the amount for that particular total fare, total excursion along with the farm and the cruise is $267. So the answer for question 10 is dollar, which is already given there. So you have to write only the number, which is 267. Okay, so those are the 10 questions of section 1. Not that difficult if you pay attention to the audio, and if you are paying attention to synonymous words which are played in the audio, it is not that difficult for you to get those answers. Or just make sure you follow the instructions very clearly. Okay, so that's what we have done today. I think we will wrap it up for the day, and we are going to solve the section 2 of this same in our next session. Okay, so I hope that you are practicing very well. Keep on practicing with all your 4 modules thoroughly, and we are going to meet for a next session next week. Have a great day. Bye.